Hello, it's Amy Zawi with the Friday Red Alert Report. It's May 20th and this is the Jerusalem Connection. Today I want to talk about a bit of irony that the Israeli National News reported on just last week. The BDS movement, Boycott, Divest, and Sanction, is explicit in its desire to punish the state of Israel and the Jewish people, and it often predicates its claims to gin up support for these actions and endeavors by spreading lies about Israel, and at the very least calling them oppressors and violators of human rights. One of the leading activists in this BDS movement is a man named Omar Barghouti. Omar was born in Qatar and married an Arab-Israeli citizen, and with that, 23 years ago, he was able to apply and receive Israeli residency status, permanent residency status. And he did this, and with it enjoyed the freedom of movement throughout the world, throughout Israel, throughout the territories surrounding Israel. And he was also able to, and is studying at the university in Tel Aviv, and enjoying freedom of expression and freedom of movement and freedom of study without any punishment. This is unlike what would happen in his neighboring country or even his own country. Because with these freedoms, he is actively and outspokenly criticizing and ginning up actions against the state of Israel. Now, the Israeli Minister of the Interior is considering revoking Omar's residency status and has currently suspended his travel privileges. Omar's response to this, and I'll quote, "I have had an Israeli permanent residency for almost 23 years, in accordance with the law and without any violations." Now, in this very statement, he's admitting that the state of Israel has a rule of law and under which he has enjoyed 23 years of benefit from living under it. He's also quoted as saying, "Israel is imposing this travel ban on me, demonizing me and threatening me to intimidate me into silence." Now, this is just what blew me away, because that's the very objective of the BDS movement, to demonize the state of Israel, to threaten it into submission, and to silence it ultimately by having it not exist. When asked about this revocation process, Interior Minister Aryeh Deri said he, Omar, uses his citizenship, his permanent residency, to come and go out to the rest of the world and act against Israel in a most severe way. He told attendees of an anti-BDS conference this just about 10 days ago. Keep in mind, there is a legal and established process for both granting permanent residency and citizenship and revoking it. Article 11 of Israel's Law of Entry law allows for the revocation of citizenship as well as residency for 3 specific reasons. If a person has entered a state which is considered an enemy of Israel or obtained citizenship, if the person committed an act which is considered a breach of loyalty to the country, and that's an important one here, and if the person's citizenship was given to him or her on some faulty basis. Permanent residence also requires that the applicant or the holder of it establishes a certain place as home, a certain majority of his or her time that is their place of living and doing business. And not just to use it to get in and out of Israel or move about the state freely. Keep in mind that France just stripped several terrorists of their French citizenship after they realized these terrorists were acting, of course, in violation of French law, but also as enemies of the state and therefore its people. If Omar was to exercise this law for his benefit and agenda under Israeli law, certainly Israelis can use their own law to revoke it. At least there's a due process for it. What has always amazed me is that terrorists and the BDS movement uses the very freedoms that the West and Israel grants to its citizens and inhabitants, the freedoms of expression, the freedoms of movement, that the totalitarianism of radical or militant Islam ultimately wants to destroy. But they use these freedoms in order to reach those objectives, to destroy it. This is both a clever thing and very frustrating. However, it reminds me of the book of Esther and Haman's attempt to destroy the Jewish people, and how the logic and the circumstances was ultimately, at the end of the day, controlled by God. Shavua Tov. Have a great week. Shabbat Shalom.